Okay, this is Matt Jablonski's second video blog for TE 448, section 003. I'm talking about Junko Yakoto's article entitled Asian Americans in Literature for Children and Young Adults. In a nutshell, the article goes on to talk about the representations of Asian Americans in not only just books, but all types of literature, be it movies or comics, any of these things that, how there's been an increase in recent years. There's been a surge of Asian American literature, and how this is, as a people and as diverse learners, we're all becoming more knowledgeable, more aware of the people around us and how this can be good. And yet at the same time, we need to be careful when we do assess these literatures that they aren't actually hindering Asian American cultures in the United States. Um, then, like I said, there's been a recent increase for Asian American literature. A lot of times before there was this increase, we would find very few books that represented Asian Americans, and the ones that did maybe didn't do so in a good light, or maybe they often told similar stories. The ones that we did see were often folklore, and they didn't really represent contemporary Asian Americans. I think this is a bad thing, and I'm glad that it's been outed that we need to look not only at who Asian Americans used to be, but who they are now, and how we can learn from their experiences and how they've changed and how they've been represented throughout the years to come. Mikoto mentions three main criteria for assessing good Asian American literature. They are range, authenticity, and balanced perspectives. Um, Here she talks about range. It's when we do include Asian American literature, we want to make sure that we have a variety of peoples, not just the same types of peoples and stories. She goes on to say that they were, and when the Asian Americans were represented, they were often just the Chinese, the Japanese, people from India, and then also people from Korea. Though this is a good start, we definitely need to expand ourselves. We need to learn not only of maybe some of the most popular and most advanced countries, but to learn of all Asians and Asian Americans, so that we can get multiple perspectives, and that we can grow and learn from all peoples, not just the most the most popular or the most represented in stories. I think this is a great step because it's not only going to help us as teachers to know that we need to represent all people, but it helps us break away from knowing the single story of Asians. So, say we hear only of these people, we would say that maybe that could create stereotypes or you know, create thoughts in our heads that all Asians are like these, you know, most popular, but also we need to realize that all people need to be represented, and that we need to break away from the single story of thinking that all Asians are alike through these few representations of the masses. The second part of it is authenticity. Here we see, like, with the little representations that we have had, they need to be good representations of Asian American cultures and Asian American peoples. Not so much that they are on the shelves, which is great, but we need to see that they really reinforce the good stereotypes or the good aspects of Asian American cultures rather than break them down. An example that we've talked about in class and that she gives in the book or in the article is the five Chinese brothers, and how some people might put it on their shelves or in the libraries saying, "Oh, it's great representation because it simply includes people of Asian American cultures," but really it's only reinforcing negative stereotypes in a lot of ways. And so we need to make sure that when we look for books that they're authentic, that they really help empower Asian American peoples rather than break them down further. The last criteria for evaluating proper literature for Asian Americans is called balanced perspectives. Um, and again, this really talks about the single story and how we need to break away from it. Um, Within one specific culture, if we only talk about maybe one type of person, for example, say we're talking about the Japanese culture, if we only talk about the samurais, that's going to create another single story. That's going to make people think that, oh, all Japanese people are samurais, or all these Japanese people are fighters and they know karate, or whatever it may be. Within the Japanese culture, we need to hear different perspectives and different stories. We need to go on to hear that there's also these people who do these great jobs and these many things to break away from confining to just one belief and one structure of just a specific culture. So, what I really liked about the article is it not only broke down specific cultures and how we need to break away from creating a single story, and we need to debunk these negative stereotypes. But it also talked about Asians as a whole, that we don't create a single story for all Asians, um, which we may see, and that it's showing progress that we are becoming more, we're expanding our Asian American literature, and we need to continue to do so. We need to assess the quality of what we are including, and then make sure that the representations are going to advance Asian American cultures in America, rather than possibly create more negative stereotypes or reinforce them. Thank you.